This was my most asked question. Why the MPC 62? The short answer is that it's the one that arrived in my house. But there's actually a longer story. So here we go. After I graduated from the University of Miami in the jazz program at the Frost School of Music, I moved back to New York, where I'm from, and I moved in with two of my best friends from college. And at the time, one of my roommates, who is now my husband, had one of these. Not this exact one, but an MPC 62. I don't remember this because it was, many years ago, but he had been trying to learn it. And obviously at the time, YouTube wasn't really amazing with tutorial videos of how to use things, especially a dinosaur like this. So there was really nothing there. He sold it. Fast forward, many years later, it's 2024. We both work with this company that often will hire us to write something that maybe will be placed in a commercial, a TV show, a movie trailer, something like that. So my husband, Steve, happened to go over to his studio. So he saw an MPC 60 on the shelf and was like, what's the deal with this? And our buddy was like, yeah, it's just been kind of sitting here. So my husband said, could I borrow it? I would like to finally learn how to use it. So that's why in the fall of 2024, it arrived in our house. And I remember him saying, hey, I think I'm going to find someone on YouTube who maybe will give us some pointers of like how to operate the machine. Do you want to learn how to use it? And me being an instrumentalist and a vocalist, I'm like, no, I want to actually play the instrument, and I don't want to learn this new technical thing. I just thought I was going to be horrible at it. So I was like, no. But I thought, you're a different learner than me. Why don't I sit next to you while you take the lessons? I'll write some notes, like handwritten pencil or pen and paper kind of notes. I took notes. I typed up the notes, and then that was kind of, the fall of 2024. Didn't touch this thing for a year. I think I basically loaded some sounds in and edited them, and then that was kind of it. Maybe I put it to something that was already pre-existing that my husband made and tried to mess around, but I really just didn't want anything to do with it, to be honest. So fast forward a year later, now we're in the end of December. It's like that weird time between Christmas and New Year's when you don't really have anything to do. So I decided that it was a good day to go record shopping. We went to a record store, then we went to another record store, and then it was time to make our way home. On the way home, Steve had been checking out a lot of Brazilian 70s dance, funk, disco kind of stuff, and he played some. I heard this one track and immediately was inspired by the vocal chords that the choir, that the vocalists were singing. And I loved these sparkly sounds in the background. And I just thought the groove was so funky. And I don't know why, because I hadn't thought about it ever, but I was like, I want to go home and chop this up. And of course he was so excited because I had never used it. We set it up when we got home. I was just messing around with it, having so much fun. And because we were borrowing the previous one, Steve was like, well, what should we do moving forward? Do you want me to get a new machine that's more modern, a smaller one? You can bring it, it's portable. And I was just like, I don't know. This is my first time really sitting here and trying to make something out of this. I just feel like it's not going to be fun if I have to learn a whole brand new machine. So I just thought, why don't I just stick with this? He went away. I didn't see him. I kept working on my beat. And an hour later, he's like, I found one. We could pick it up tomorrow in Pasadena, which is 30 minutes from us. And I'm like, okay, let's do it. Before the night ended, because our old one had a floppy disk reader, but it wasn't working because, again, it hadn't been upgraded or modded or anything, or just in working order all the way. And so I knew that when I shut the machine off, it was going to be gone forever. So just for sort of remembrance sake, Steve was like, hey, why don't I film this? And that way you can just have it for memories. And I was like, that's a great idea. And so he filmed it. Next thing you know, it's 12:30 in the morning. It's getting late. And I watched it back and I was like, this is actually cool. It sounds good and I'm happy with it and maybe I should post it. Then comes the imposter syndrome, the doubt, the judgment that you put on yourself that you think people are going to say about you. And I was like, oh, I don't know if I want to put this up. And then I had a brilliant idea. Well, if I want to share it, maybe I'll just make a bunch of accounts that are new and I don't sync my contacts, so I can be like anonymous and just post it out to the world. Hey, I'm having fun. I'm being vulnerable, doing a new thing for the first time. Here you go. And so that is the story of why I have an MPC 60 and why I'm not using anything more advanced than this. For me personally, at this point in my life, because I've only been doing this for a month on the MPC, I'm trying to keep it simple. I like the limitations. I like that I only have 26 seconds. I like that there's a lot of, I really like the limitations and the simplicity of what I can do, because again, I'm just trying to get a lot better on this one machine. In the future, do I think I'll move to a different machine? Maybe. And maybe not. So I don't really know. But I hope this is the answer that you all were looking for. That was seriously my number one asked question, was like, why are you playing this thing from the early 90s? Why not something new? There's a million different ones that are out now. So that is the answer. And here she is in all her glory. Thanks. See you next time.